Now this is very different from my usual style of content, but the date of uploading this is April 1st. April Fools. And to celebrate the occasion, I wanted to make a silly, different kind of video than usual. Now, this wasn't the first idea I had in mind, but that idea would take far more time than I actually have to make this year before April 1st. So I've gone with Plan B. ASMR. Now, in order to keep this video in line with my usual style of content, I have a variety of Monster Hunter themed items I'm going to be making lovely sounds with for you tonight. Starting with my Monster Hunter Rise Desk Mat. As you might have noticed, it is a full art print of Gamora Village and its many residents, drawn in the gorgeous Japanese ink brush art style. I really love the art style they went with for Monster Hunter Rise. It is very cute. I have a question for everybody watching. Off the top of your head, how many of the characters on this desk mat can you name in the comments? And bonus points if you recognize the names for the two hunter characters. I believe Monster Hunter Rise is the only Monster Hunter game that gave both the male and female player avatars official names. There is also more characters on this desk mat that you cannot see because it is very big. That's what she said. So I realized my shadow was in the way of some of these characters. Hopefully you're able to see them a bit better now. Let me know in the comments how many of them you can name. So, I'm going to do my best to remember the names of the ones we can see on screen really quickly. Starting with the hunters. Lance, Gun, and Rampage. I am serious. That is their names. If you don't believe me, Google it. Down here, we have the village chief, Elder Fugan. And here, our adorable, lovely quest maidens, Hinoa and Minoto. And here we have the trader, whose name I often forget and confuse with her sisters. But after pondering on it and stalling for the last 10 seconds, I think it is Rondine. And here we have whose head is halfway cut off. The lovable Yumogi. Anyways, next to her, we have the body handler, whose name I don't really remember. But I think his name was Hori. I think. I could be wrong. Over here, we have Hojo. I do remember his name. And he's on his Tetsukabra. Then we have the merchant, who I'm struggling to think of the name, but I think it is Kaguro. And I'm just gonna be honest, I don't remember the little miss's name. I just call her Apple Girl, 'cause she's always snacking on a candy apple, or sometimes dango, but she's mostly got candy apples she's trying to sell the hunter. However, unfortunately for her, she isn't actually a shop NPC, so as much as we might want to buy her candy apples, we unfortunately cannot. Now over here we have the smithy. His name is Hamon. Now you might be wondering why I remember this mostly unremarkable vendor NPC name, but I don't remember the buddy managers or apple girls. Well, that is because whenever I speak with Hamon, my mind drifts off to Jeremy Clarkson. Whenever he shouts, Hammond. Whenever I hear that name, or one that sounds similar to it, it makes it easy for me to remember. But anyway, I think that is enough of my desk mat, because I still have a lot of triggers I want to get through in this video. So, let's move on to another one that still is on theme with Monster Hunter Rise. It is my Minoto Plush doll. Now I have to hold her a bit awkwardly for her to show up on the camera, so you don't just get top-down view. But here she is. I'm not really sure if that sound is picking up on the mic. If it's not, I might just cut this trigger. So, Minoto is my favorite character from Monster Hunter Rise. You might just be able to say, she is my waifu. But you might be surprised to hear Minoto is not my favorite Monster Hunter handler. Because my actual favorite is the Port Dancia Quest Gal. I love Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. It is one of my favorite Monster Hunter games. And its multiplayer hub, Port Dancia, is my favorite Monster Hunter hub. We can see here the tag, which I'm only now just realizing is the exact same as on my desk mat. Normally when I have Minoto sit on my desk, the tag is tucked down behind where I can't see it. And as for the reason why I have a Minoto Plushie sitting on my desk, well, there's actually a little lore about that. I hope that sounds nice. So, when I do, or mostly when I used to do, live streams on my channel, I would have this really poorly edited mock-up I put together with a friend, and on that little desk overlay sat this very same Minoto Plushie. Sorry, Minoto, I don't mean to poke you in the eye, but it might make good sounds. Anyways, because of that overlay I made, I put the actual Minoto plush doll on my desk. And for the past year, she has been sitting over in this corner next to my microphone stand. Now, I have a lot of Monster Hunter plush dolls. And for this video, I went into where I keep the majority of them tucked away because I cannot display them, to pull one out. And that one, I'm going to be careful with because it's still in the packaging. Crimson Glow Valstrax. Now, I apologize, Neo, but I don't have the original OG Valstrax plushie, but I do have Crimson Glow Valstrax. I chose this one because it is still wrapped in the protective plastic it come from. And I thought, provided I am careful and don't move it around too much or too harshly, some people might find it relaxing. I don't know how clearly that comes up, but we have the Valstrax icon on the tag, just like with Minoto. I hope that wasn't too loud. Valstrax is probably my favorite Elder Dragon in the series. Both the normal Valstrax and the Crimson Glow. I aesthetically like the shape and the sound of the monster. It is a very cool looking design. I think that is enough for the Valstrax. Let's put him away. Now, for my next trigger, we have Monster Hunter Flash Hunter Volume 1. Excuse me. This is the first of 10 volumes in the Flash Hunter manga series, featuring the adventures of the main character, Ryga, and his companions, Caris and Torch. This is probably the best way to experience the lore and the traditions of the Monster Hunter universe through the perspective of the characters who live in it. It is a sort of light retelling of the stories of Monster Hunter Freedom 2 and Monster Hunter Try, featuring a young cast of teenagers, of teenage hunters, going around trying to become master hunters. It is, again I will say, probably my favorite Monster Hunter media. Let's take a look at some of the art. We got them there in their armor. Ryga in his Coot armor. Then we have Caris wearing his Aya Prey armor. And then my favorite character, Torch, who I'm totally not biased towards because she's wearing the great Jackie armor. Look at how cool that art is. Flick through. Another thing I love about the manga is that the author, when he was drawing the panels, had the games open that he was referencing, so he could copy them almost exactly. How many people recognize this area here as the camp from Monster Hunter Try, Sandy Plains? They're going to fight a Baroth. show some of the various pages. The Yin Cuckoo there. And Ryga fighting it. He's a very reckless hunter, which is the motivation for his part in the story. Over here we have Dundorma, the main hub city from Monster Hunter 1. And down here we have the underground tavern area, which I'm not too familiar with Monster Hunter 1, but in Monster Hunter 4 was where players go to accept G rank arena quests, and can also sit down to watch the diva/songstress sing various songs. In here we have Ryga running along with Caris as they travel over the seas with the Monster Hunter Freeze Argosary to go to Lochlac to start his new journey as a hunter. That's about as much as I'll show for Flash Hunter. I highly recommend reading this series for yourself. I cannot express enough how much I love the way Flash Hunter explores the world of Monster Hunter. I wish this manga series got an anime adaptation because it is just so good. Alright, for the next trigger, I have an assortment of various different Monster Hunter cases. And I want to ask you watching to tell me which is your favorite case that I'll be playing with tonight. So to start off, we have the OG Monster Hunter for the PlayStation 2 with Net Play. On the back, we have the synopsis: Hunt or be hunted. It was different then. In our distant homeland, the beasts roamed freely. Some had teeth the size of a man, some were bigger still. Our only defense were the hunters. And there was one, the most ferocious, the most intelligent, who stood above them all. You are the Monster Hunter, a warrior hunting the biggest of big game ever. When you're not hunted yourself. And I don't know how visible it is on my webcam, but we have the various screenshots of the monsters in the game. It's kind of hard to see them myself, but I think we have Rathian flying away, some Genprey, Velociprey, and a Velocidrome. On the cover we have the King of the Skies, the series flagship Rathalos. And on the back we have you, the Monster Hunter, looking out at his kill, who I'm struggling to figure out who that is based on the angle. Let's open it up, shall we? I should be very careful doing this. I don't want to damage the disc. But I think it might make good sounds. So it is worth the potential risk. So that was case number 1, Monster Hunter for the PlayStation 2. Up next, we have Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP. This was my first ever Monster Hunter game. I got it with my PSP in 2011, and I have been playing Monster Hunter ever since. Unfortunately, I don't have the original version of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite with its full art cover, as I have the PSP Essentials. On the plus side, this was a far more cheaper game to get, being a part of the PSP Essentials catalog, which might be why I got it with my PSP. Were it not for that, I might never have picked up Monster Hunter, at least until Monster Hunter World released to global success. On the back, we have a much shorter synopsis than Monster Hunter 1. In the world of Monster Hunter, you are never alone. This game, more so than the first, had a massive emphasis on co-op, if you couldn't tell by the synopsis. And the many features down here listing the co-op. The PSP's ad hoc local play made playing Monster Hunter easier than ever before. However, it is worth noting, Freedom Unite wasn't the first PSP Monster Hunter game. Let's take a look inside the case. So, my game card, my UMD disc, I'm pretty sure is still in my PSP, sitting in my drawer. But we have a booklet in this one you can make sounds with. How many of you watching were old enough to still remember getting guidebooks inside your video games? Looking through this now, it's very nostalgic. Interesting, there's a code on the back. I don't remember that being there. I suppose if you're watching, you can try redeeming it. But I'm 99% sure it's likely expired. But if it's not, congratulations. That was Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP. starting with Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. It wasn't until I played this game right here that I truly fell in love with the Monster Hunter series. I know this is a story told a lot, especially on the Third Fleet podcast, but that's because I find it more often than not true. I really sucked at Freedom Unite. I couldn't even beat the low rank village. It took me a week straight of trying to beat the Digrex. And then when I got to Tailstra, nothing I could try could beat him. To be fair, I was only 12 years old. But I don't think that's a good excuse for sucking. But when I saw Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on sale a few years later on the shelf, I thought, I remember that game on my PSP. I want to try the new one. And I fell in love with Monster Hunter completely. The vibe of Monster Hunter 3 is probably my favorite in the series. The setting is so chill, and it has the best music, in my opinion. Anyways, let's read the synopsis. Discover the epic world of Monster Hunter. That I did indeed. Let's take a look inside. Bit loud. So the game card, similar to the PSP, is actually with my 3DS in the case with some of my other favorite 3DS games, such as Fire Emblem Awakening and Monster Hunter 4. Speaking of Fire Emblem Awakening, I got reminded of that game from these little squares here, which you might be thinking, it's a little weird, but a really cool thing some 3DS games did, like Fire Emblem Awakening, was put pictures inside of the game case with the little sprites on each square of some of the main characters of Awakening. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate did not do that, if you couldn't tell. Anyways, that was Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on the Nintendo 3DS. What did you think? Now this one is kind of a big one. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Collector's Edition, also for the Nintendo 3DS. This one is our case representing the 4th generation. Let's open it up, because there is no synopsis on the back to read, although we do see what's inside, but we'll find out that soon anyways. Excuse me. I must say, it's magnetic. I was about to say I was confused. It's been quite a while since I've opened this. Many years. So here we have very similar sounds to Free Ultimate, which was the reason why I wanted to use the collector's box, because it makes different sounds. But let's read the synopsis. Big game hunting. That it indeed was. We see the camellias on the back, stealing the hunter's steak. Poor fella. Let's have a look. What else is in this box? So we have a screen cleaner. At least that's what I call them. Or maybe they're called a glass cleaner. Or it could be microfiber cloth, but I'm used to microfiber cloths being bigger and looking different. It's got the design of the loading screen from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I don't know if you can tell. I've just checked the camera and you cannot tell, but you can see some of the locales like Dodoma and Heaven's Mount. Now, we have a base for the Gormagala figurine inside. I'm not going to open it, but here's the box. My apologies, I might have to mute that sound. And we have a layout, I think I pronounced that right, with the various monster icons, starting with Velocidrome. I joked. Ketcha, Waka, Yen, Kutku, Chipsaros, Tetsu, Ka, Bra, Basirios, Cephalodrome. I'm sort of getting confused there, much like the question mark representing Fatalis, Gogmazios, Dalamador. I think that covers all of them, but I'm not going to read them all out. I just try to find one very specific good boy. Okay, I'm actually extremely disappointed they didn't put the Great Jaggy on there. But lastly, we have a Feline Pin Series 1. Apparently this was part of a set, but this is the only one I have. Aside from maybe the Lagiacrus cat armor, I think this is the best one. Let's put them back in, shall we? Close the supply crate. Struggling a bit. I hope that's not too loud. Oh, come on. It doesn't want to close over. Oh, I see why. The lid was poking up a bit too much. But that was Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate's Collector's Edition for the 3DS. I imagine this one might be a lot of people's pick, simply because there was so many variety with this one game, sound-wise, compared to the other cases. favorite Monster Hunter game win the which case sounds the best contest. Anyways, up next, for the 5th generation, we have Monster Hunter Stories 2. Now, I know this is a stretch to pick Stories 2 as a representation for the 5th generation, but I wanted to include a Switch case because we already have a PlayStation case, and Monster Hunter Rise already got a lot of love with the first 2 triggers, so let's show Stories 2 some love. So let's have a look at the synopsis. The fate of the world hangs in the balance as the exciting narrative about the Rings of Ruin unfolds. I really love the Monster Hunter Stories sub-series. I think they are excellently done for a spin-off series. Probably one of the strongest spin-off series I have seen to a game franchise, aside from Final Fantasy, but it's probably very hard to compete when Final Fantasy has about 80 various spin-off games. Some good, very good, but a lot bad. Anyways, let's pop it open. Look at that beautiful art stretching down towards the main city, whose name I don't remember. For some reason, Mirabar comes to mind, but I'm pretty sure that's a city in Faerun from D&D. Anyways, similar to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, my game card is in my Switch carry case. But we do have these lovely cards to make sounds with. This was the pre-order bonus for the game. You could get the Hub Maidens, the Kimura Maidens, as it's not exclusive to Minoto, but you could get the Kimura outfit for Anna. As much as I love this outfit, I prefer to use Anna's default design. It's just how I am in games. I tend to always use 95% of the time the default gear for story NPCs in RPGs. And the code was already used if you're thinking about trying to get it for yourself. Whoops. However, this is a reward for anyone who's made it this far into the video, but only the first one who uses it. An unused Nintendo Switch Online free 7-day trial. I don't know if that code's showing up clearly or not. I have a pretty bad webcam. My apologies. But this is actually from Monster Hunter Stories 2. I pulled it out of my Xenoblade X Definitive Edition case because I wanted another piece of cardboard to play with, and I'm not going to use it, so I thought I might let one of my viewers. In case it's still too blurry, the code is E137GKVMWM5 as I am in Australia, and the code was for an Australian region video game. But that was Monster Hunter Stories 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, our next case, the most newest game, Monster Hunter Rise. Now this was called the Lekia edition, I think. It was the closest to a collector's edition I could buy in Australia. So that's what I went with here. For the sixth generation. I am so not used to saying that. This is the 6th generation case representative. You got this gorgeous holographic art with Olivia, the Hunter, and Argvold, the key art. On the back, the synopsis says, "The wilds are calling." Excuse me. Explore an ever-changing world as you unravel the secrets of the Forbidden Lands. Hunt massive monsters, solo or alongside friends, with crossplay. Something everyone's wanted in the series for a long time. Now, this is still sleeved in the protective plastic I bought it in, so I'm not going to open it. But we will tap on the case and look at the holographic art. I was kind of hoping the plastic would make... Actually, maybe that is making a unique sound. That's why I picked the case in plastic. I wanted the sound. Of course, I do have a copy of Monster Hunter Wilds I've been playing. But this one is still sealed. So, what do you think of that one? But there is one more case I have to make sounds with tonight, representing a bonus generation. This is Monster Hunter Disco Remix. This is actually a CD, so there's no synopsis on the back, but we do have the track list. I really love Monster Hunter music, and I really love disco music as a genre. So this was a match made in heaven. Let's take a look inside. Look at that disc. You've got the funky feline's head as the case. As the disc. Absolutely beautiful. And they've left where the sunnies go. Unstickered. For the shine. This is probably one of the coolest disc designs I have ever seen. I almost don't want to tap on it. I hope that didn't do too much damage. But yes, Monster Hunter Disco Remix. This is one of several arrangement albums Capcom put out back around a decade ago from an anniversary remixes of some of the greatest tracks from the first 4 generations to a similar kind of arrangement album, but instead of being disco themed, it was jazz themed. There's also an idol themed J-pop album that's sung by the voice actress for the Meowstress from Monster Hunter Generations, featuring her song from Monster Hunter Generations, as well as many more. I really like these albums, so I've bought almost all of them, but my favorite is Monster Hunter Disco Remix. So, that's it for these cases. Which one was your favorite? I don't know if I can fit them all on screen. There is quite a few. But let me know in the comments which case and which generation is your favorite. I'm gonna pack them up now. Put them back where I got them from, which was beside my desk. Alright, for our next trigger, I have the Monster Hunter Wilds PS5 DuelSense controller. This cost me quite a fortune to buy, but it's worth it for Monster Hunter. If you couldn't tell from what I've shown so far, I am quite the die-hard fanatic and collector. So, I wasn't sure if I was going to turn the PlayStation on. I haven't connected it yet, but I'm not really sure how DualSense controllers work. I thought maybe they wirelessly connect. Maybe I'm a bit silly. Hopefully that's not too loud. I'm kind of just been recording for like the past hour without actually checking the sound. I did do a quick trial run earlier and it didn't sound too bad. So here's hoping I didn't waste an hour, but if I did, it's practice for the one that does work. I should probably get this connected and play Wilds with my Wilds controller. That might be something I do for Title Update 1 releasing pretty soon. That is not the only controller I keep under that tab on my desk. Although calling this a controller might be a bit of a stretch. This is the Monster Hunter Rise Nintendo Switch. Got a bit of my hair on my hands. It's annoying me. Go away. Scream. There we go. It's on my other hand. I'll just try to ignore that. It shouldn't show up on the webcam. So we got some Joy-Con sounds. I imagine some ASMR fanatics might be able to tell the difference between the controllers based on the sounds. I can't really. depressed. Maybe I should watch more ASMR. Probably not. Let's turn it on. Hopefully it's not too loud. Just the... I should have it on mute. Let's have a look what we got here. Yeah, turn up a little bit, just a little bit of sound. I don't know if it's playing. I got headphones on, so yeah. But yeah, we got Monster Hunter Rise's game card in at the moment for a video I was working on before I started recording this. But we've also got Xenoblade Chronicles X, which came out almost a week ago as of recording. I really need to play more of this game. I love the Xenoblade series, and X on the Wii U is a really awesome game. My favorite game in the Xenoblade series. So I really need to find the time to stop procrastinating and play more of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. But on here I also have Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, which I was also running the other day for a YouTube video I was working on. Okay, I have now took my headphones off so I can listen and judge how loud the Switch menu is, so I can play the system sounds and not have them be too loud. Oh, that whistle might have been a bit loud. But yeah. I quite like the Nintendo user interface. The people who designed the Switch hardware, or really any Nintendo hardware, put a lot of effort into the sound of their menus. They sound rather satisfying to flick through. Or at least I think. Maybe I'm a bit weird. Let me know what you think. But it's definitely better than PlayStation. Not too sure about Xbox. I never had an Xbox. Faces are getting a bit itchy. But yeah, look at that. That's a lot of games. So, I am something of a Nintendo Switch game collector. I'm not as big a collector as some Nintendo fans you might see online. But out of my friend group, I'm definitely the biggest. That's what she said. It is probably worth noting that I haven't played most of these games. Some are games I just bought to collect the physical copies, whereas I play them digitally on Steam or PlayStation 5, such as, let me find a game, River City Girls, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, or, let me scroll to the top, Assassin's Creed and Coffee Talk. And another third of these games, like Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series, and Shining Force Resonance Refrain. Bowser Symphonia I have not played because I couldn't find the time and they fell into my endless back catalogue. However, if I was to recommend one game out of my large Switch library, I would have to pick Etrian Odyssey HD Collection. Let's boot one up, shall we? These are first-person dungeon crawling RPGs with turn-based battles and a very deep party build system. I really like the Etrian Odyssey games. Ooh, the music might be a bit loud. But anyway, maybe it's a bit too quiet. Not sure if that lovely title music's playing on screen. But I would say Etrian Odyssey is right up there as my second favorite video game series. After Monster Hunter, of course. These are really challenging games, but they are also very rewarding. I forget how to get to the first town. I think I go to Armor Road. Okay. There we go, let's enter the labyrinth. Just have a quick look-see around. Very nice music. I find these games really relaxing to play. Well, anyway, I am getting very sidetracked for a Monster Hunter themed ASMR video. My apologies. I hope these Switch system sounds were relaxing. In case you forgot why I was on my Switch, it is a Monster Hunter Switch that I for some reason decided to play Etrian Odyssey on for you tonight. I'm going to turn my Switch off now. I know I could put my Switch in sleep mode, but I am somebody who likes to hard power off all of my systems, be it my PC, my monitor, my PlayStation, and of course, my Switch. Hope that wasn't too rough for you. That sounded pretty loud. Anyways, let's put it back where I keep it. Okay, next trigger. It's a big one, and I hope it's not too loud. Monster Hunter and Zoids for the series 20th and 40th anniversaries, respectively. Now, I haven't actually built this because I don't really think I can. I have various model kits ranging from the classic mechas to cute anime girls and anime mecha girls. But I am terrified of building them because I don't want to cut the wrong piece and wreck them. I don't think that is an issue that is too noticeable with Zoids from what I hear. But I still am too nervous to build it. They're packaged really well that the parts don't shake. I was kind of hoping that would sound a bit nice. Yeah. Apparently there's a story on the back for why Rathalos and Magnamalo are in the Zoid world. But I don't speak Japanese or read it, so all I can see is that it takes some time during the century of 2100. There we go. I don't know if that was too rough. Apologies if it was. I'll lower the sound. Gotta say, that looks really cool, the art here. If I could get it without the glare. There we go. We got the normal Magnamalo facing off against Mecha Magnamalo. Who are you putting your bets on? I'll tell you who I would. For Mecha. I love mechs. Alright. Let's put this one away. Now, I'm kind of running out of triggers here. I have 2 more left. The first one is in this box. Now, you might be wondering what's in this box. That's Monster Hunter related. This weird, unmarked box. Well, let me show you. Look at that. Beautiful, gorgeous hammer wielder. Let me split these with the card series. So, people who have watched my ranking every hammer in the Monster Hunter series video would recognize these from the honorable mentions category as the Monster Hunter trading cards and hunting card game, respectively. Let me get a small stack of these. We'll flick through them, shall we? Just get some of those shuffling sounds. I'm really bad at shuffling, and I'm only now just realizing doing this. I should have sleeved these because I might damage these priceless artifacts. So I will stop. Oh my god, there's a foil one there. Dual blade user with the Shogun Senator armor. There we go. Let's put Daimyo Hamato Hammer Wielder back on top. So, I don't know if you can get a good view of these card arts here, but we have some various art from various different artists. Like this one here was from the bloke who done Fairy Tail. Same with this card here. He made a 4 manga volume series called Monster Hunter Orage. Now, the series is incredibly inaccurate to the Monster Hunter lore, but if you're into Fairy Tail and Monster Hunter, you might like it. Perhaps that's where Hollywood got the idea for the Monster Hunter movie. But yeah, we got lots of art here of different weapons from the games, the monsters. We got a Menschlax. We got the Honotaur. That's a very terrifying image of the Honotaur. I kind of thought that was a Celtus for a second, but no, it's the little small beetles. Yeah, man, look at these. Very nice. I got some weapons there. Oh, I like that art of Basarios doing his poison mist. And there's the card I put at the back. The foil Shogun Senator Dual Blades Hunter. I'm going to keep him in the middle to protect him from exposure. And over here we have the Monster Hunter hunting card game. Now these were two very different card games with different rule sets, but from what I remember researching them, the Monster Hunter hunting card game was about one hunter fighting monsters, whereas the hunting card game was about a group of hunters going on quests, slaying monsters. So the hunting card game, which these cards here are from, man, look at all those Plesios, bloody beautiful. Got a foil art card there of a Gunlance user, I think, in the Monopolis armor. Got a blue Yin Kutku, another foil card there. Not exactly sure what weapon she's using. It might be the hammer. No, it's longsword actually. But yeah, oh, look at that foil Tailstra. Look at that. Sorry, there might have been glare where I had him before, but yeah, foil Tailstra. But the hunting card game was, from what I remember, just you playing by yourself, trying to get 4,000 guild points. It's kind of like Solitaire, it's a single player game, but you could compete with your friends to try and get 4,000 guild points before them. Whereas the trading card game was more akin to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, where you verse your other team's hunters with your monsters to beat them. I think. I could be wrong. Oops, I'm losing the Pelagos. So those here. I might have damaged these more than I would have liked. They don't make these anymore. They stopped making them about 10 years ago. So they're very expensive. But I have another one here. It is the Moga Village Handler, or Quest Gal, if you're old school. Her name, I think, is Aisha. I don't remember, but she does appear in the Monster Hunter Flash Hunter manga with a actual name. I know, it was crazy to think as a Monster Hunter fan that NPCs had names other than Moga Sweetheart back in the older games. But as of Monster Hunter World, and especially Rise, and now in Wilds, every hunter has a name. Let's take this out of the protective packaging. I'm pretty sure this card was a prize card or a promo of sorts, given it is still wrapped, sealed in the plastic it came in. It is a very valuable card. I really like the art on it too. It's no Portenzia Quest Gal, but it's close enough. I couldn't find a card of the Portenzia Quest Girl when I was looking. It is very hard to find the Monster Hunter card games online, given you have to scour Japanese websites to find them. And when you find them, they are both expensive and difficult to ship anywhere but Japan. I have more deck boxes of these cards, but I only pulled one out. The one that has the uneven stack of the hunting card game. And the trading card game. I said that backwards. This is the hunting card game. That is the trading card game. But I wanted to be able to show both with the one box. So my other couple boxes are still under my bed. Let's put these back. So, for the last trigger of tonight's video, I have, as I pull them over, okay, I got them all now. A various assortment of Monster Hunter figures, mostly Amiibos, but just the small ones I had on display on my shelf. I have Anna. Sure how well it is with the lighting here. I got the Palamute. Malzino. Rafa. And the female rider. And this one's not an Amiibo, but I can't make a Monster Hunter video without including it somehow. The hammer. Oops, not really in frame, is it? Look at that cute little Lagombi girl waving her ice crystal hammer. She also has a matching Pelago. But yeah, I don't really know how well these sounds are getting made. If they're picking up on mic, but I hope they are. I love the hammer. Let me bang on the mic. Hopefully that's not too loud. As she beats you with her big bang combo. But yeah, I wanted to grab a figure or Amiibo representing each of the games I had on the shelf. So for Monster Hunter Rise, I grabbed the Palamute. It was one of the biggest features of Monster Hunter Rise. For its expansion, I chose the Malzino Amiibo. Its wings are a little bit hard to tap, but they're tappable. Probably the most tappable figure I grabbed. Of course, for Monster Hunter Stories 2, I chose Anna. And for Stories 1, you can't go wrong with the protagonist. And I have several Monster Hunter Nendroids, but like I said, I wanted the hammer one. It is my favorite weapon, so it's really only fitting. And yeah, little Pelico. So I was kind of hoping I could make more tapping sounds with these, but I think they all sound the same and feel kind of hard to tap on, given they're kind of weird, so I suppose it's kind of turned into more of a show and tell than actually using the figures for anything. But yeah, I have a majority of the Monster Hunter Stories 1 amiibos. They were really expensive to buy secondhand, like most amiibos. But I learned my lesson missing the wave of Monster Hunter Stories 1 amiibos. So when Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, and Stories released them, I made sure to get them all. There is free for Rise, free for Sunbreak, and I think there was only one for Stories 2 actually. There was also free. There's the Pelago, Palamute, and Magnamalo. Pelago, Palamute, Malzeno, Anna, the girl cat, who I'm forgetting the name, I think it's Tsuki or something, and the Razering Rapper. And for Stories 1, there was the male hunter, the male rider, the female rider, Naviru, Dan, Avinia, and the rival's name, who I forget the name of. But I want to say Knuckles, because he reminds me a lot of Knuckles from Sonic. I have all of the amiibos except for Naviru, and for Rival, who's a Cheval, that's his name. Naviru, surprisingly, as hated as he is about 500 Australian dollars. And Cheval is over $1,000. That's a lot of money, and more than I'm willing to pay. But yeah, I don't even think these sounds are picking up, are they? I don't really see them picking up on my OBS, so maybe this was just a Whisper Ramble segment as I talk about amiibos. But yeah, let's do these to the side for now. That is every Monster Hunter trigger I have today to make sounds with. This was a monster of a video. No pun intended there, but I wasn't expecting to talk and make sounds for this long. I was thinking maybe this would be a 20-minute video, probably give like each item about 2 minutes, but like most of my videos, I get sidetracked on side tangents and just talk. But I think I have made many nice sounds today, and hopefully put you to sleep. Though, if we're being honest, if anything would have put you to sleep, it would have been my long tangents. But yeah, if you're not asleep, then I hope this relaxed you. You found it calming. As I shared with you my love of the series, and a part of my vast Monster Hunter collection. Now, for anyone made it through to the end who actually likes this, which I don't think there would be anyone, but if there is someone, I regret to inform you that if you didn't hear at the beginning of the video, this was an April Fool's video. so I'm not planning to make any more ASMR videos. However, as I say that, if this video actually does pretty well, I might try making another ASMR video. But I wouldn't say this is going to become a usual thing. I want to focus mainly still on video essays and other Monster Hunter related content like gameplay and weapon comparisons. But again, who's to say? I will chase what the algorithm likes as I continue to grow out this channel. So that said, please consider liking the video if you liked it, or dislike it if you didn't. I'm open to dialogue in the comments. I've already given a bunch of points we can start dialogue on, so I won't go over them again. And this is one of those videos where I say, don't subscribe for more content like this, because again, I'm not sure if I'll be making any more ASMR videos. Alright, that's all. Have a good one, people.